guys. Good morning from Hunting Island. We're going to be starting inside today because it is a little dreary. Caitlin, if you look outside, I don't know if you guys can see, it's kind of rainy, windy. We wanted you guys to definitely hear this part of the program, and then the fun part is we get to let these guys go. So they're ready to go. I fed them, made sure they can eat live prey, and they are very excited to be released into the wild today to go back home. So I will explain why we're releasing them, why we're not keeping them when we go to release them. And again, we're at Hunting Island State Park. If you guys are jumping on still, my name is Ranger Megan at Hunting Island. We did the reptile talk, seems like forever ago. And then we did the crabbing last week. So I'm here today to talk to you about Diamondback Terrapins and release a couple, the ones that I just showed you guys. So how many are we up to now?
We're at 131.
131. All right. We'll wait a little while longer. Get you guys an up-close view of, this is Pluto. Neptune's in the tank. But Pluto, we believe, is our little male terrapin. Both of these guys are about 3 years old, and they are ready to go. As you can see, they're very fat and happy. Like I said, I fed them this morning, so they're ready to go. All right, what do you think, Pluto? You ready? Say, yeah, I'm ready. All right, how many we got now?
167.
All right, since you guys are here, we'll go ahead and start with the terrapin education before we go outside and release these guys. So today we're going to be talking about Diamondback Terrapins before we release these guys. So we're going to get our resident Diamondback Terrapin, which she is an excellent kind of poster child, if you would, for Diamondback Terrapins. So this is Buddy. Buddy has been at the Nature Center, oh gosh, Buddy, what'd you think, 20 years? She will be 27 this year. So she is on the older range for Diamondback Terrapins. So why is she here? Why isn't she released like these guys today? When she was a little turtle, her nail beds, when she came to us, if you guys look real close at her nails, well, the lack thereof, she doesn't have any nails. When she was little, a ghost crab or fish or a bunch of animals that prey upon little Diamondback Terrapins teamed up on her and kind of cut off all her nail beds. So she does have one over here, if you guys can see that one. And then she's got one on the back foot there. But other than that, they would have pretty impressive fingernails to use in the wild, which she doesn't. So we keep her here, and I might have Caitlin kind of spin around and show you her exhibit. So this is where Buddy calls home. I'm sure you guys, when you come to visit the Nature Center, this is where you see Buddy. This is probably about a 120-gallon tank that she lives in. She gets fed shrimp, she gets fed turtle vitamins. She's very well taken care of. So she's like, I want to go back in there. They love to be in the water. So, but a little bit about Diamondback Terrapins. We'll come back over here. This is how big they start out. Let me get little JC for you guys. Now we have kind of a head start program for these Diamondback Terrapins. So this is little JC. JC came to us as a hatchling, a little bit smaller than this, not much. A lot of you guys saw her in the earlier videos. She was a lot smaller. She still had her umbilical scar, which she does not have anymore, so it's kind of like a belly button. She got rid of that. She doesn't have her egg tooth, but she does have the characteristic diamondback patterns on her back. So you guys might ask, why is it called a Diamondback Terrapin? Look at the pattern on their backs, and we'll get Neptune for you guys and compare. So Neptune, you can kind of see the diamondback scoots, hence the name. They're called Diamondback Terrapin. And you might ask, a phone call. You might ask, why are they considered terrapins? Well, what makes a terrapin? If you looked out, as we looked out earlier at Hunting Island State Park, again, we'll identify where you guys are. You're at Hunting Island, the Nature Center. So the gators in the back, they want to be stars of the show, but not today. It's Terrapin Day. So these guys live in the salt marsh. This is South Carolina's only brackish water turtle. A lot of times people get confused with these guys with sea turtles. So these are terrapins, and if Caitlin looks over here, this would be a sea turtle. So if you look, big size difference. Look at little JC on there. This would be an adult loggerhead sea turtle. This is the head. So if you look at the head size, let me get an adult for reference, as in Buddy. So this is full size for a Diamondback Terrapin, a female. The females are around 7, with the biggest one being 9 inches. And then that's pretty much tops for a female. So the loggerheads are huge. So if you do see a turtle on the beach and it looks like Buddy, it's probably a Diamondback Terrapin. So we'll talk a little bit more about terrapin biology. Terrapins, like I said, they're brackish water turtles. So just like sea turtles, they have a salt gland near their eye, especially like you and I, that excretes salt. You can't really see it on her, but she does expel tears to get rid of that excess salt, just like sea turtles do. They can go in full strength seawater, but they prefer brackish. And they can go in full strength freshwater, but they prefer brackish. So Buddy, with her old age, as she's gotten older, we find out that she likes freshwater more. She doesn't really care too much about salt water, so we've kind of toned down the saltiness in her tank, made it a little less brackish. But she's just fine. Buddy, if you've known Buddy before, she's got some little chubby fat rolls, so she's very well taken care of, very spoiled. This is, I call her the queen of the Nature Center, or the little diva. She is a little diva of the Nature Center. One big thing to remember about these guys, Diamondback Terrapins, they are considered protected in South Carolina. So they're not on the federal endangered species list, such as loggerheads. So loggerheads, it would be against the law to keep one in captivity. These guys are kind of laxed. I think we looked it up. Caitlin was like, you can keep 2 of these, but
yes.
They are better suited for the wild, as with anything. So that's what we do here. We try to, when we get a baby hatchling like this, we try to grow them up, get them healthy, and then release them in the wild. So let me tell you a little bit about JC and how we got JC and what's going on with JC. So JC, someone actually found her in the parking lot of Johnson Creek Tavern, a little restaurant down the road. And so no one wanted to run her over, and it was very cold at the time, so we didn't want to just send her out on her own. So we kept her here, and we're actually going to keep her until she's really healthy and she gets some size on her. So if you're looking at this, this one would be very good pickings for a great blue heron, fish, anything like that. Whereas this would be a little bit harder for a great blue heron to eat. She's got a lot more size on her, so nothing can really prey upon her. All right, do we have any questions?
We had a couple. Let me see if I can go back to them.
Okay.
Violet, 7, from Charleston,
Hi, Violet.
wants to know why Buddy has a pointed nose.
Why does Buddy have a pointed nose? It's a cute nose, isn't it? These guys, if you look real close, they kind of have little pointed noses as well. It's kind of the way Diamondback Terrapins are. Personally, don't tell the sea turtles I said this, but this is probably my favorite turtle, just because of the color variation. if you notice, these guys have pointed noses too. They look kind of like piggy noses, which makes them so cute to me. But she's got dots on her. She's got black, gray, white. JC is more gray. She's also got kind of more of a green tinge to her shell. But that's just how Diamondback Terrapins are. And it's probably one reason for it maybe is maybe how they get fresh water. So when there's a lot of rain like today, fresh water will float on top of salt water, and these guys can actually drink from the fresh water that's floating on top, or they just open their mouths. Say hello.
We have another question?
Sure.
How old are the turtles you are releasing?
These guys are about 3 years old. So we'll talk more about them outside. I just wanted to bring you guys in here at the Hunting Island Nature Center so you can hear me, because it's really windy outside right now, and I just wanted you guys to make sure you hear me. So we will be releasing these guys today. This is Pluto and Neptune. This is Neptune, this is Pluto. Say hey guys. We do think this is a male. Why do we think it's a male? They're about the same age. They're not from the same clutch of eggs, so they're not brother and sister. But this one is a little smaller. And then if you notice on the back, let's see if I can do this. They're not gonna let me do it. Look at their tail size. The males have a lot bigger tails. They're even staying still for you. The males have bigger tails, but they're smaller. So the females can get around 7 inches, whereas these guys get around probably 5 inches. What you doing? You guys talking to each other? They're ready to go. Now, what do these guys eat? Before we let these guys go, we made sure they eat live prey. But for the most part, what they eat are these guys. I brought an array of critters for you guys. So we have, hey, whoa, he's excited. Anybody know what this is? I told you last week. Let's see if anybody remembers. This is a Periwinkle Snail, which I did not tell you guys about. This is one of the Diamondback Terrapin's main diets. So you'll find these on Spartina stalks in the salt marsh. They go up and down, kind of getting all the algae and good stuff off the Spartina stalks, kind of licking it off. But these guys will come along and eat them. So Diamondback Terrapins are a great species to have in the salt marsh because they keep these snail populations in check. Why is that important? Because if you have too many snails, I don't think she'll eat, the Spartina will actually die off, and it will cause a very kind of unhealthy marsh ecosystem. So terrapins play a vital role in the ecosystem.
We had a few guesses about this little guy.
All right, what's the guess?
We had somebody say blue crab.
Good guess.
We had 2 people say crab. And I think this is a little bit cheating, but Misty said fiddler crab.
Who's cheating? Are you cheating?
I think Misty is, since Misty's one of our Phoebes.
All right. Yes, it is a fiddler crab, and that is one of their favorite foods. Let's see if she'll eat it. Oh, you don't see it, do you?
Buddy will probably eat it.
Hey. Buddy will. We'll put him back. All right, so what are threats to Diamondback Terrapins? There's a few, actually. One big one being when they cross the road to lay eggs. So we'll get Buddy again. When these guys go across the road to lay eggs, usually they're trying to find a high spot on the marsh, or in salt marsh, say like a hammock island, they're trying to find a high spot. Or they can nest in the dunes on the beach. So when you see one of these cross the road, looking for a high spot on the marsh, if it's safe to do so, I won't tell you to stop your car in the middle of the road. But if it's safe to do so, pull the car over. You can grab these guys because they're not as friendly as Buddy. Sometimes they do try to bite. grab them from the back. The nails will be pretty sharp and they'll be wanting to get down, but don't put them on the other side. Put them where they're going, so where the direction they were headed, on the other side of the road. So it's a very nice thing to do if you can do it safely, but by all means, if it's unsafe for you, just be careful and make a wise decision. But that's one of their mortalities. The other one would be abandoned crab traps. What are you guys doing? There you go. The other one would be, I think I told you this last week, but those of you that weren't there, this is a very dangerous situation for a Diamondback Terrapin. Why? Because this is a blue crab pot. The blue crabs go in here, get the bait that's in the middle, but who else also likes to go in there? Me. So terrapins like to go in there for a free meal. So if this turtle was able to, see how she can get in there? She wants to go in there. So if this trap is sitting for more than a day, she can't hold her breath for that long. And she'll die in the trap. So it's very important not to discard these traps in the wild. If you find one that's in the marshes, get it out of there if you can, because it is, they call them ghost traps, because these guys will get in there, they can't figure out how to get out, and then they die. So what these orange things are, if you guys are wondering what those are, this is a turtle excluder device, which is supposed to help big Diamondback Terrapins not go in there, but as you can see, she fits right through it. So just be careful of that if you find a ghost crab pot, because we don't like them, do we? Neptune, this is Neptune. All right, and one more thing would be habitat destruction for these guys. So pollution, they don't like all that jazz, so they are susceptible to that. So a little bit, let's see, how much time?
We are at about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Right now.
Does anybody have any questions?
We have all sorts of
You
questions.
do? Okay, cool.
I may not be able to get back to some of them.
That's okay. Can you guys still hear me good? If you can hear me and the video's good, just do a thumbs up for Caitlin so she can see it. But yeah, if you have questions, let me know now. If I didn't cover something you wanted to know, ask now and then we'll release them. So don't go away. If you're watching, don't go away.
Emma 8 would like to know about their pale mouth.
Their pale mouth. So if you look really close, we'll get JC out too, because she's got the same thing. So if you look really close, their mouth, it looks really hard, and that's because it is. So it's kind of like a beak. If you were to get bit by one of these guys, JC likes to try and bite me all the time because she's just a, oh, they saw each other. She's a feisty little turtle, and she needs to defend herself. But if you were to get bit with that beak, she might open her mouth there. Yeah, she's thinking about biting. It kind of feels like a bird beak. So it would feel a lot like a bird if a parrot was to bite you. And why do they have those beaks? So that was a good question, Emma. Remember what they eat? These guys. So if you're gonna eat a shelled invertebrate like this, you're gonna need a lot of muscle in your jaw. So that's what this is. All this right here, if you ever see an animal with that much muscle in their mouth, that bite is gonna really hurt. I can tell you because I've been bit by them, and it does hurt. So that is a very good question. It is just where their beak is, or their mouth, but I call it a beak because it kind of looks like a beak. Any more? Good questions.
Olivia wants to know how long they live.
Hi, Olivia. These guys live probably 25 to 40 years. Buddy's 27. Both of these guys we're releasing today are about 3.5. So they have a long ways to go, hopefully. But yeah, these guys are about 3. JC, how old are you? Probably like 3-5 months. But yeah, these guys will hopefully live into the wild, maybe like into their 20s, 30s, 40s.
Daisy, 9, from Statesboro,
Hi, Daisy.
wants to know why the bigger one is spotted on its skin and the little one isn't.
Well, that's a good question. I'm getting a bunch of good questions. All right. So it's really too early to tell if it's a male or a female because they're so little. When they're little, they don't really have that much pattern. As she develops and she gets older, she'll get a lot more of a pattern. This also very well could be a male turtle. Male turtles are a lot darker. So remember what we said about Pluto here. This is a dude. So this very well could be a male. And we'll look again at male and female difference. If y'all just jumped on, hello. We're doing a terrapin talk before we release these two. This is the female. This is Neptune. So everybody say, hey, Neptune. This is Pluto. Again, the color difference. Pluto is darker and also smaller, just a wee bit. And then I'm going to try to turn them again. Oh, I did it that time. If you guys look at Pluto's tail, it's a lot larger. The males have a lot larger claws or tails, and then the claws are a lot larger on the front as well. And if you do find one of these, like we said about returning them across the road, be very careful. For one, they'll bite again, and then their claws are super sharp. It's really hard to hold on to a Diamondback Terrapin, but hold them in the back like this. That way she can't really get around to bite you. Good question.
We have a personal question. What was your major in college for this career path?
My major in college, I hail from the University of South Carolina at Beaufort, so go Sand Sharks again. Any Sand Sharks watching? But I got my degree in biology. My biggest fear was to be in an office the rest of my life, 4 walls. This is my office, which is a really nice office view. I do something different every day. I love my job. I've been doing this for about 6 years, so I've probably seen a lot of you guys at the Nature Center. This is kind of where we're stationed. But yeah, my degree's in biology.
What other species are similar to the terrapin?
In this neck of the woods, this is, like we said, the only brackish water turtle. So the next kind of similar thing would be like a spotted turtle or a painted turtle, but they're freshwater. So remember what we said about these guys, they like brackish water. Although they can live in freshwater, they prefer brackish. So just like sea turtles, you'd be in big trouble if you put a sea turtle in a lake, because they are marine turtles. They like salt water. But these guys, they're pretty tolerant of anything. And if you do see one in the salt marsh, say if you're kayaking, the only time I've ever really seen one is if I'm kayaking. They come up and then they're really scared, they're really shy, and they go right back down. Hey, bud.
What is the bottom of the shell called?
The bottom, good question. The top, we'll talk about the top first, the Carapace. Now, if you guys look, see the ridge? You can actually see her backbone. Her backbone is connected to her shell, so she cannot come out of her shell, like they show in cartoons, which they show a little naked turtle running around. It's cute, but they cannot come out. But if they are hit on the road, it could be fatal because this is where their spine is. We've rescued a lot of terrapins in the road that have gotten hit and able to save them. Oh, she's shy on her tummy. She wants to turn over. This is the Plastron. So if you look, it's connected here on both sides. Oh, I'm turning you over. But this is the Plastron of the turtle. So it's very streamlined. If you look, I think I can show you guys in the camera. It's very streamlined, so they can kind of swim through the water. They have really strong web feet. You can see the webbing there real good. So they can really swim in the water. They're really strong swimmers. Very strong. Whee!
Libby, 5.
Hi, Libby.
Wants to know how you catch a turtle.
How do you catch a turtle? Whoa. Believe it or not, these guys are not slow. They're extremely fast when they want to be. Let's see if we can get JC to run around a little bit. They've got some wheels on them, so don't let them fool you. They can go pretty fast. But to catch a turtle, these guys would be very hard to catch because they're very secretive, so we don't really see them a lot. The only reason we get these guys is because they were injured, and that's what I'll talk about before we let them go. Neptune here. Neptune had some lesions or cuts on her skin right here when we got her. So you can kind of see the scars a little bit, but we had to heal those up. How do we heal those up, you ask? We use honey around here. So we use honey for everything. Honey's a natural antibiotic. So we're able to put those on her sores, kind of keep her out a little bit, and give her vitamins. So if you haven't had your vitamins today, you should, because these guys have. This is not a commercial for Reptimin. I'm just showing you guys what they eat. But this is what we feed them to get their shell back up and nice and hard. Pluto, switch to Pluto. Pluto came in to us. His shell was extremely soft. Turtles are supposed to have really hard shells to protect them. If they have soft shells, it's not good. They could get injured, they could get eaten. So we had to get his shell up to par before we let him go. And it has been. It's very well defined now, and he's good to go. So.
Got a few more questions.
Yeah.
Addison from OSP.
Hello, Addison.
Wants to know when you can tell if they are male or female.
When? Probably by 3 to 5 years. So like I said, these guys are 3. When they're this size, I cannot tell. And I don't think anybody'd be able to. It's very difficult to tell what if they're male or female at that age. So, but good question though.
How long can they survive in or out of the water?
That kind of goes for like the temperature. If it's really hot, probably not long. If it's really cold, probably not long. They don't do well, you know, at extreme temperatures. But if they had to be out of the water, they like to be in the water. They probably the males probably never leave the water. It's kind of like sea turtles. The females leave to nest, but the males really never leave. So out of the water, if it's not in direct sunlight, I would think maybe like a few days.
Yeah.
But that's a good question.
Ryder 5
Hi, Ryder.
wants to know how you came up with their names.
We kind of got on a planet kick. So we had Saturn. I think we released Saturn. Saturn got big enough. So our little Head Start program, we get them when they're JC size. She's posing for you, Neptune. She got a little head out. She's a little diva too. But we get them when they're Neptunes or JC size. We grow them up and we just start naming them. So if you've ever been to the nature center, we name everything. Just kind of gives everybody their little quirk, and it kind of tells us who we're talking about. All these fish aren't named. That'd be a little difficult. But the gators behind us, Bonnie and Clyde, we name all kind of goofy stuff. We have Toadalina, she's a toad. The king snakes are named after kings, so we've got Tut and we've got Louie, King Louie. So.
Okay, we've got more questions.
All right, we'll do a few more, then we'll release these guys. So don't go away.
Parker 9 wants
Parker.
to know how long are their legs.
Their legs. Well, she's kind of showing off for you there. I would say when they get big, let's get Buddy out. Buddy hasn't been on TV a lot. So this is adult size. Remember we were looking at adult sizes and juveniles. So this is juvenile. This is adult. they like to go off the table. As you can see, she's ready to go. But their legs pretty long. Buddy can hang them out there for you. Probably about an inch or two, I would say, but I don't want to pull them out. She's kind of showing off for you there. But she's very powerful. Next time you guys come to the Nature Center when we're open, hopefully soon, ask us to bring out Buddy and you can feel how powerful her feet are. Really good for swimming, streamlined bodies so she can go through the water with ease, and beautiful eyes. I've always loved terrapins' eyes. They have beautiful, very expressive eyes, don't you, buds? And her little piggy nose. Any more questions?
What caused the shell to be soft on Pluto?
Lack of calcium. So if you guys take your vitamins or drink milk, if they don't have a lot of calcium, make sure the calcium intake and vitamin D is good, because the soft shell will form. So Buddy, along with these little guys, she gets the vitamins as well, so just so they're healthy when their shell is really hard. Good question.
And remind them again, what is the biggest threat to these turtles?
Biggest threat would be, there's a few. At one point, I don't think I mentioned this, these guys were considered a delicacy in the 1900s. One turtle could go for $5. That may not sound expensive now today, but if you inflate that to the price it would be today, it would be around $100. So this would be considered a delicacy to eat, and it would be in turtle soup. So that was the threat back in the day, like in the 1900s, 1907, until they were protected. Another big threat would be crab traps, what we call ghost traps. This is when these traps are left by anybody, but these turtles swim in here. And see, the turtle excluder device works really well on adult turtles. Go, Buddy, go. She can't fit, because a crab can, but a terrapin can't. So that really helps when these guys try to go in the traps. And then the other one would be habitat loss. These guys, say construction or pollution, they don't do well with that. So a few of their downfalls.
And then last question that I see, what age do you release them?
What age? We don't really go on an age. Let me go back around here. Sorry, guys. We don't really go on an age. We go on size. So this little guy, we try not to keep them in captivity for too long. Our thing around here is rescue, rehabilitate, release. So if they're not injured, we try to let them go. So like JC, when she gets good size on her, we'll let her go. But hopefully like 3 years. I don't like to keep them too long in here, but when you're this size, anything can eat you. Great blue herons, fish, let's see, gosh, blue crabs, you name it. These guys are on the menu for those. So this little fella we'll keep for a little while, probably a couple of years. We'll feed her, make sure she's well taken care of, and then when she graduates to about this size, we let them go. So this is adult turtle, this is Buddy. Again, she's handicapped and cannot be released. This one is a rehabbed wild terrapin, and we're going to release her today. She is a camera, oh my goodness, she's such a sucker for the camera. Look at you. What a little diva. She loves to be on camera. There you go. Any more questions? We're gonna let these guys go. Any more?
How old is Buddy?
Buddy, she'll be 27 this year. So we are looking.
And a question I've seen a couple of times.
Yeah.
Do they hibernate?
The wild ones, they seem to. Believe it or not, scientists don't really know a lot about Diamondback Terrapins, what they do in the water. You just can't find them too much because they're very secretive. But we do know a lot about what they do on land and females. So kind of like sea turtles, we don't really know what they do in the water, but we do know what they do on land. But they seem to hibernate in the wintertime. It's just too cold for them. So, and we covered about what they eat. I think some of you guys probably jumped on. They eat these periwinkle snails, which you find in the marsh, and then we got a little fiddler crab for you guys to check out what they eat. All right, you guys ready to release them? If you guys are listening and not watching, maybe you have me on speaker, now's the time to check it out because we are going to release these guys just outside the Nature Center. And we're going to go outside. We're going to release them. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them again and where we're releasing them and why. All right. So you guys follow us. Very quiet without you guys here. We missed you guys. But hopefully next week, get a bunch of people out here. They're ready to go. Alrighty. I'm gonna miss them. I've had them for about, 3 years, I guess. Any more questions while we hike over here?
Why do their tails look like spikes?
They're just pointy tails. The males, again, is the bigger one. So Pluto over here has the bigger tail, and then Neptune has the little smaller tail. But they do look like spikes. They're very pointy. Good question. I like all y'all's questions. You can stand probably right there.
Yeah.
See that opening? I'll go around.
All right. I don't know if you can hear her all the way over there, but this is where we're going to release them.
Can you guys hear me? We'll make sure everybody can hear first before I release them. And just give Caitlin a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. If the video quality's good, just let me know before we release them, and we'll let them go. But we getting good.
Not yet.
Okay.
We got about a 15-second delay on it.
Okay. Yeah, y'all just let me know, and then
We got some questions you can answer if you'd like. Why is Buddy handicapped?
Buddy is missing her front claws and her rear claws. So look at this one. She's got really nice claws. And Buddy, that helps them with their food, kind of to break it up. Buddy would kind of be not really bad off, but it would be hard for her to get food.
They want to know, is this area right here freshwater?
This is not. So if you guys can hear me good, I'm gonna talk now since we're out here in position. This is our saltwater estuary or marsh. So where we're actually at, we're behind the Nature Center. This is where I do all my terrapin releases. Why is that? Why? It's very calm here. They can explore on their own. If you look over here, they've got tons of marsh to explore, and there's not a danger for them. So what would be a danger for them to release? Open ocean would be very dangerous to them. They would not be used to that. And we have a boat landing across the street. You wouldn't want to release them near the boat landing because there would be a lot of boats going by and a lot of activity. So this is a great way for them to explore their new surroundings, and it's where they were found. So with terrapins, you don't want to release them 50 miles from where they were found. These guys were found on Hunting Island, so they need to be released on Hunting Island. So we chose a nice, quiet little creek that leads out to the marsh, and they can explore everything. So, and it is brackish water. Any more questions?
Remind them where we're at one more time.
Yep, we're at Hunting Island State Park. We're behind the Nature Center. But we're going to do a terrapin release. If you just jumped on, welcome. I'm Ranger Megan. This is Neptune and Pluto. I get little Pluto. Don't want to get him out of the picture. So we're releasing 2 Diamondback Terrapins into the wild at Hunting Island State Park. This is Neptune. This is, we think, our female Diamondback Terrapin. And this is Pluto. So we're going to be releasing them. So we've already picked our spot, a good spot. What else have we done? We've also made sure they eat live prey. That was one of the things that they had to do before we let them loose. Why is that? Because they've been fed reptile sticks. We do feed them fish occasionally, but I needed to know that they could eat on their own before I released them. So they can. They graduated, so their little Head Start program is over, and hopefully now the growth that they have on them and the girth, nothing will be able to mess with them.
One last question before you release them. Yeah. Do you have trackers on them?
I don't. I really wish I could, but I don't. I do this kind of for their protection, and I do it for the species, propagation of the species. So Diamondback Terrapins are actually in decline. I'm hoping that one day they can get on that list to be protected more, but they need all the help they can get, so to speak. The gnats are bad. Mm-hmm. So we do the little Head Start program and then we release them. So, and we'll take questions after I release them, guys. If y'all have any more, by all means, we'll do probably like a 5-minute kind of question thing. But
and they said they can hear you good.
Okay, so y'all can hear me good.
Yep, I see.
So when I release them, they're probably not gonna do what you think and ride off into the sunset. They're gonna be a little surprised. They're gonna look around, which is normal for these guys. They'll be very excited about their new surroundings. So, but here we go. You guys ready? We ready? Y'all ready? I'm gonna miss them. So, these are my little babies that I've raised up since they were JC's size. So, all right. I'm gonna let them kind of crawl in, do their own thing. Here you go, guys. So the tide is coming in, so they have a lot of places to explore. I can grab the phone from you and show you guys. Say bye. You can kind of see them in there. They have gone home, everybody. This is where they're from. They're from the salt marsh, and this is where they need to be. So we give them a chance at life, and oh, hey. He's like, I'm not so sure. So we'll wish them well. And like I said, they're where they're supposed to be. They're back home. We try not to keep anything in captivity. We like them to be on their own, doing what they're supposed to be. I think Neptune has left you, Pluto. So we'll wish them well, guys. I don't see Neptune. They are gone. Yep, they are having fun already. Yep, and they have, I'll kind of show you guys where they have to explore. They have that little creek back there, and it goes all the way around. They'll be safe in here until they kind of figure out what they want to do. There's Pluto still. Go, buddy, go. You're free. You're back home. They are home, guys. All right. Do we have any questions? We'll give it back to Caitlin, and we'll kind of answer questions if y'all have any.
We had earlier Liam, 8.
Hey, Liam.
Why does Pluto have a black face?
The males have a more darker complexion, so he's got that black and gray look, whereas Neptune kind of had the white because we believe it's a female. So.
Another question, what about alligators? They would eat them, right?
Alligators would. So if there's a gator, typically we don't see them in the salt marsh, but they do go in the salt marsh, so that could be one of their predators. So yeah, but they're fine. These guys, they're already acting like live or wild terrapins. They're scared. But yeah, they'll probably stay around this area for a little while and then go explore. So.
Somebody else said, do you think they will try to come back to the nature center?
In a perfect world, I would like them to and to feed them, but now they're considered wild. Usually when we release them out here, we don't see them again. If I'm ever back here doing something, just for my own peace of mind, I kind of pop my head back here and look, but these guys, once they figure out they're in the wild, they take off, they're gone. So there's Pluto.
Why do you have to let them go?
We believe in kind of rescue, rehabilitate, release.
Oh, Pluto's leaving.
There's no need for us to keep the terrapins anymore. It's really not fair to them because they were injured in the wild. So I believe in once they're rehabilitated and healed, we let them go into where they're supposed to be. So I like them, and it makes me sad, but this is their home, and they're a lot. I promise you, they're a lot happier out here. And I do try to release 2 at once, so they're together. So.
Are they slimy?
Not really. There's Neptune. They're very soft. Their skin's really soft, but not really slimy, unless they're like in algae. Like a wild Diamondback Terrapin could be in algae. They could be slimy. So. Alright guys, we are going to sign you off. Again, you are at Honey Island State Park. We appreciate you guys coming in, watching these guys get released. Kind of you're part of history. This is something I love to do. I love to watch them go do their own thing. But yeah, it's a fun thing to do. It does make me sad because, like I said, I've taken care of them for a while now, but they are very happy out here, and I'm happy to see them be a terrapin. So, but yeah, we appreciate y'all coming. Signing off from Hunting Island. You guys stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you soon. Take care.